Hello everyone, welcome back to Cartography. In the previous session, we were discussing on the developments that happened in the field of cartography in ancient and medieval period. Now let's look into the developments of cartography in the modern period. In 1500, Juan de da Cosa drew a map using the observations from the first three voyages of Columbus and John Cobbot's voyage to North America. However, it was no more useful for navigation than other maps of this period, that they used the principles of Portelano designs. In the same year, Albert Cantino of Portuguese prepared Cantino chart. King Hami chart was another significant work in 1502. Because of the thought that Amerigo Vespucci has reached the new continent before Columbus, Vespucci has identified the newly discovered land as a separate continent. In 1507, Martin Wadsmuller for the first time had shown North America as a separate continent. He also used the name America in the map. In all these maps, the outlines of Asia and Africa had considerably improved. Pedro Reynal and George Reynal, the two official cartographers of Portuguese court, made a chart of Indian Ocean in 1518 and a world map for Magellan's use. Malaccas was the chief source of European spice, lying near the Spain-Portugal boundary. The earliest non-Portuguese chart of this area was dated from 1510 onwards. In these charts, the area west of Malaya are shown accurately, where the eastern parts are latitudinally distorted. Further improvements in the eastern areas of Malaya were made in the Ribeirões chart, which was published in 1529. This map also included the whole earth or the globe between the polar circles, with the East Indian archipelago appearing in both western and eastern margins. However, the eastern extension of Asia was still exaggerated by about 20 degrees. By the mid 16th century, the cartographers were struggling to create new map projections to depict the curved earth surface on a flat paper. Peter Appian in 1530 produced a heart-shaped map of the earth, which the lines of latitudes and longitudes are curved. However, both the distance and the direction are distorted in this projection. Gerardus Mercator, the disciple of Appian, made a world map in 1538 by joining the two heart-shaped projections, one representing each hemisphere. One of the earliest cartographic depictions of Scandinavian peninsula, that is the Carta Marina, was also happened in 1539 by Olaus Magnus. By 1525, the German and the Netherlands geographers and cartographers devised geometrical methods of survey with more precise instrument for observing angles. In 1533, the first description of the method of triangulation appeared through the publication of Cosmographia by Gemma Versus. He suggested the fixing of position of objects by intersecting the rays. He was headed the Netherlands School of Cartography. Gradually, the foundation for the plane table survey was laid by Philip Appian. By 1570s, the use of plane table survey dominated everywhere. With the progress of exploration and improved methods of surveying, there was a growing demand for topographical map by the travelers and the merchants. This paved way to the introduction of Munster and Lafayette Atlas to meet the demands of the people. Gerhard Mercator the student of Gamma Physis, made a principal achievement by preparing a globe of the world in 1541 and a large map of Europe in 1554. He is famous for the world map he produced in 1569, which became the only map used for navigation in lower and middle latitudes. In his map, Mercator arranged both the parallels and meridians as proportionate straight lines meeting at right angles to compensate the east-west exaggeration due to straight line meridians. This distorted the area of the map, but it helped to maintain the direction and the shape. Mercator in his map showed three major landmasses consisting of Asia, Europe, and Africa as one. The second consisting of the landmass of North and South America, and the third one is the continent of Australia. Despite all these efforts, Mercator did not explain the method used in making his projection. He also ignored in preparing the coastlines in map carefully. Hence, his map was not widely accepted as most of the navigators were not trained in mathematics. It was only in the year 1599 Edward Wright produced the trigonometric tables that made it possible for other people to reproduce Mercator's projection. He demonstrated the non-mathematical navigators the use of meridians and straight lines in navigation with the help of balloons. This mechanical non-mathematical demonstration of projection helped everyone to understand the Mercator's projection, and thus the Mercator's projection supplanted all other projections for the use of navigations in low and mid latitudes. It is still the only projection used for the navigation purpose. The later part of the 16th and the 17th century gathered more knowledge on the continents of Australia and North America and other parts of the world, especially China. The scientific world witnessed further advancement in surveying methods, development of telescope, logarithmic tables, pendulum clock and levels. In 1671, the Paris Observatory was established where numerous places based on latitudes and longitudes were recorded under the Royal French Academy of Sciences. They also took up the preparation of detailed map of France. A notable contribution in the field of cartography during the late 17th and 18th century was made by the four generations of Cassini family. The Cassini map was first comprehensive detailed map of France that compiled after a survey carried out between 1740s to 1780s. In 1744, King Louis XV commissioned the Caesar Francois Cassini-Thurey, the third Cassini, to prepare a topographical map of the entire France, showing every city, village and hamlet, including the drainage, water bodies and even the coastline. The idea of such a map was based on the second Cassini, the Jacques, and the first Cassini, Jean-Dominique, the father and the grandfather who worked before the third Cassini. The Academy of Sciences, with Cassini at the head of the project, almost completed the enormous project before his death in 1984. The fourth Cassini succeeded his father at the observatory, completed the project in 182 sheets of 4,484 centimeter square area each and published in the year 1793. The Cassinis were followed by a succession of competent French cartographers. Gillespie published a general map of the world between 1724 to 45, where the North America was represented with larger longitudinal extent. The regional maps of De Valley had the same findings as the source of the information was same. The work of De Valley was carried out by Philip Boch, who developed the system of providing symbols and shading to represent various reliefs. The symbols were used for representing the mountains and the hills, and the valleys and escarpments were represented with shading. During the 18th century, Lehmann developed the principles of hatchery. The system of representing relief with contours were also began by this time. The land contours were first used by Murken in 1749 and the submarine contours by Philip Boch in 1734. The use of spot height in the earliest British map also appeared. It mainly appeared through the work of Christopher Pake's physiographical chart of Kent in 1743. The method of emphasizing the 3D used tint appeared in Steele's Hand Atlas, which was published in 1820. Quadrant was improved by John Hadley, who added reflecting mirrors and vernier scale to it to improve the methods of survey. Chronometer was developed by John Harrison in 1772. Theodolite was also developed and employed in triangulation survey of England and France in 1787. Gradually, London became the leading center of cartographic production. As the Britishers were active in colonization over Asia and America, these cartographic methods were used in their colonies. The Survey of India was established in 1767. Rennell, the Surveyor General of India, published the Map of India in 1779. The first edition of Bengal Atlas was under the scale of 8 miles to 2.5 centimeter. Arrowsmith prepared a chart of Pacific Ocean in 9 sheets of the size of 1.8 into 2.6 meters. I hope you have enjoyed the session. For any queries or suggestions, post in the comment box or through the Edmodo. I wish everyone a great day ahead. Thank you all.